Imagine waking up to realize everyone in your life loves you. You're the person who always says yes, never complains, and sacrifices your time and energy for others. Yet a hollow feeling creeps in. It's not gratitude, it's emptiness. Niceness is praised by society, but when taken too far, it becomes a mask. You give, please, and avoid conflict, but the more you do, the more you lose yourself. You suppress your anger, shrink to fit expectations, and silence your desires, sacrificing your authenticity. The result? You become a ghost of who you could have been. What if your niceness isn't about kindness, but about control? By avoiding confrontation, you avoid authenticity and perpetuate a cycle of dishonesty. You teach others your needs don't matter, and you're left empty, exhausted, and disconnected from yourself. So the great question, what if being nice isn't a virtue, but a trap? What if true fulfillment lies in honoring ourselves, not pleasing others? What if the most radical act of kindness is to stop being so nice? This question forces us to confront our deepest fears and beliefs, but it's the first step in reclaiming our authenticity. Are you ready to stop being nice and start being real? Niceness is not an inherent trait, but a learned behavior, shaped by our need for approval and fear of rejection. From childhood, we learn that being obedient and agreeable is rewarded, while expressing anger or setting boundaries leads to disapproval. Over time, we equate niceness with worthiness, shaping our identity around pleasing others and suppressing our true selves. This conflict is not only psychological, but existential. Philosophers like Sartre and Nietzsche explored the tension between authenticity and conformity. Sartre saw niceness as bad faith, denying our true selves to fit societal expectations. Nietzsche viewed it as slave morality, where the nice person suppresses their desires, leading to spiritual sickness. Niceness in this view isn't kindness, but a mask for weakness and fear. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow explains how suppressing emotions and desires leads to fragmentation. Over time, this repression can cause anxiety, depression, and emptiness. Societal pressures to conform reinforce the cycle, making niceness a way to gain approval rather than express true kindness. Niceness is often disguised as kindness, but true kindness is rooted in authenticity, setting boundaries, saying no, and being honest with others. Niceness, on the other hand, is often about manipulation. We give to get, sacrificing ourselves in hopes of receiving love or acceptance. The hidden problem of niceness is that we're not giving out of genuine care, but out of fear of rejection, conflict, or being seen as selfish. This need for validation traps us in self-betrayal, preventing us from living authentically. But what if we could break free? What if we could set boundaries without guilt and express our true feelings without fear? The consequences of always being nice are deep and far-reaching, impacting our relationships, sense of self, and even our physical and mental health. On the surface, the nice person seems to hold relationships together, keeping the peace and accommodating others. But beneath this facade lies a toxic dynamic. Niceness breeds dishonesty, and without authenticity, there can be no true intimacy. Relationships built on niceness are transactional, leaving the nice person feeling unfulfilled and often attracting takers who exploit their generosity. Over time, resentment builds. Unspoken boundaries are crossed, and unmet needs fester, leading to emptiness. When the nice person finally snaps, others are often confused. But you're so nice. This dynamic harms both parties, as the real person is hidden behind a facade, preventing others from connecting with them authentically and learning to respect boundaries. Niceness also erodes our sense of self. Constantly prioritizing others leads to self-neglect, damaging self-worth, and creating feelings of passivity. When we try to assert ourselves, guilt and fear often follow. This internal conflict not only affects our psychology, but our physiology, contributing to stress, anxiety, burnout, and other health issues. Constantly trying to please others depletes our energy and ignores our own needs, leading to physical and emotional exhaustion. On a societal level, niceness maintains the status quo, discouraging dissent and suppressing voices of challenge. It becomes a tool of social control, allowing injustice to persist while people stay silent to avoid conflict. Niceness thus perpetuates inequality, teaching each generation to value conformity over truth. But niceness is not inevitable. It's a choice. If we recognize the consequences of always being nice, we can choose to stop the cycle. We can stop sacrificing ourselves for the illusion of harmony and start honoring our authenticity. Breaking free from the cycle of niceness requires a shift in how we view ourselves and the world. It's about reclaiming our authenticity and living on our own terms. This rebellion is an act of liberation, returning to who we truly are. The first step is distinguishing niceness from kindness. Kindness is authentic, rooted in honesty, compassion, and respect for ourselves and others. Niceness, however, stems from fear, avoiding conflict, seeking approval, and maintaining the status quo. We must ask, am I being kind or just trying to please? Am I honoring myself or betraying my true self? Next, we set boundaries, the foundation of authenticity. Boundaries are acts of self-respect, not selfishness. They help us honor our space and energy, and those who care for us will respect them, even if they're uncomfortable at first. We must also embrace our shadow, the repressed parts of ourselves we've been taught to reject. Through shadow work, we can integrate these hidden aspects and reclaim our power. This involves confronting and understanding the parts of us we fear or deny. Embracing conflict is equally important. Avoiding conflict keeps us stuck. When handled well, conflict can deepen relationships and help us live authentically. We must also stop seeking external validation. As nice people, we often measure our worth by others' approval, but this keeps us trapped. To reclaim our authenticity, we must trust our instincts, honor our needs, and recognize our intrinsic value. This rebellion is not just personal, it's collective. We must challenge the societal norms that reward conformity and create spaces for authenticity. By living authentically ourselves, we inspire others to do the same. Kindness can exist without self-sacrifice, and compassion can be practiced without losing ourselves. This rebellion is about living a meaningful life, honest, real, and free. Are you ready to confront the truth and stop being nice to start being free? The ultimate truth about niceness is that it isn't a virtue. It's a defense mechanism, a way to protect ourselves from vulnerability and rejection. Niceness keeps us safe, but at the cost of our authenticity, eroding our true selves, relationships, and sense of self-worth. When we wear the mask of niceness, we sacrifice our truth for an illusion of safety. The most powerful realization is that we don't need to be nice to be loved, worthy, or to exist. Our worth is not based on how much we please others or conform to expectations. It is inherent, unshakable, and cannot be earned through sacrifices. The moment we embrace this truth, everything shifts. Living authentically means honoring our needs, expressing our true feelings, setting boundaries, and embracing imperfections. It's about understanding that we don't need to be perfect to be worthy. Living authentically requires courage and vulnerability, as we stop seeking external validation and trust ourselves instead. When we stop being nice and start being real, we reclaim our power and agency. We create meaningful relationships in a compassionate world, rooted in honesty, vulnerability, and connection. Authenticity leads to a life that is not just polite, but truly transformative. The ultimate truth is that niceness is not the answer. Authenticity is. By embracing this truth, we live with self-respect, self-compassion, and self-love. We show up fully, love deeply, and transform not only our own lives, but those around us. The most radical act of kindness is to stop being nice and start being real. This journey begins with you,